guys. So I had a baby exactly 1 month ago today. Rory is officially 1 month old, which is really exciting. And I've always thought it'd be really nice to sort of keep a little diary of how he's getting on each month, what his new firsts are, what he can do, what he doesn't like, what he does like, and just to keep a track of my recovery postpartum and see how I'm getting on as well. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I had Rory exactly a month ago via cesarean section, and physically I'm feeling pretty good. There's obviously still a little bit of pain on my stomach. I think it's mainly now from where everything's going back to where it should be, rather than having the actual operation that's causing me any issues now. I have the odd after pains, as you call them, but other than that I'm feeling a lot better. Physically my view on my body has changed over the month, but it's probably not due to how I look. I didn't really care how I looked to start with. I didn't really even look in the mirror. I didn't care, and obviously I have as the month has gone on, but I've not really cared any more about my body. I've cared more about how inactive I am. So because of the cesarean, I'm not actually allowed to do a lot. I'm not allowed to really carry anything heavier than my baby or do any more exercise than walking, which for me is quite a struggle. I'm quite used to doing a lot of things. I like to be active, so just not being able to do anything and sitting down all day I found really hard. Emotionally I was really lucky actually. I didn't experience any of the baby blues, which a lot of people do. So my health visitor told me only 20% of people don't experience baby blues, so I was really lucky with that. And that usually happens around day 4 or 5 when your milk comes in. But at that point I was quite honestly, I was on cloud 9. I've never been happier in my life, and that's not really changed at all. I'm completely in love with Rory and with Robin, and every day I wake up happy that I get to look after a little baby. What I have, however, had mixed emotions about is the birth. So for me, I don't remember a lot of the birth, obviously. I remember the labour, I don't remember the birth because I was asleep. But I felt quite angry to start with about the birth, because I didn't understand how for weeks and weeks and weeks I was being told that my baby was head down, and then to get to the hospital and for them to check me and get as far as I did through labour without anybody noticing. So for me, I felt like other people had sort of caused this for me. And then one day I'll feel more upset. I'll feel quite disappointed and robbed of a lot of the things that other women get to experience. So I didn't get to meet my baby for over an hour after he was born. Oh God. I didn't get to hear his first cry. I didn't get to get skin to skin for over an hour. I didn't get to see whether he came out mucky or if he came out really clean, or I didn't get to see Robin hold him for the first time or how he reacted. Robin didn't get to cut his cord, and that stuff for me has been really hard. And I think it's something it's going to take a long time to come to terms with, quite honestly. It's the only thing that gets me upset about my experience of pregnancy, of birth, having a baby. I feel like it's definitely affected how I'll be in future pregnancies. I don't think I'll ever have a natural birth with no painkillers. I think I'll go down a completely different route next time, because I don't want to miss out on all those things that I missed out with on Rory. But I have been talking about it. I talk about it to Robin a lot. We talk about it together because it affected him a lot as well, and it's getting easier and easier every day to deal with. Obviously I don't talk about it every day, which is why I'm crying, but the feeling of being robbed of those special moments I don't think it's ever going to go away. That hurts. So the little man wasn't really playing ball. He was in his bed napping. I had him on the little monitor just to keep an eye on him, but he started crying, so he's here now, which is perfect timing, isn't it, little man? So Rory is exactly a month old today. He was born on the 28th of January, weighing 7 pounds and 2 ounces. He's already quite the character. He likes to express his emotions quite well through his face. There's lots of funny facial expressions. So Rory was 7 pound 2 when he was born, and by his 2-week health visitor visit he was 7 pound 10, so he gained 8 ounces since birth, which is really good for an exclusively breastfed baby. So it's quite common for breastfed babies to lose a lot of weight when they're born, because they're only getting the colostrum and they've got to learn how to breastfeed, obviously. And he didn't really lose a lot at all. So since his last health visitor check, he hasn't been weighed, so we don't know if he's gained any weight since 2 weeks. But we assume he has. He's eating really well, and he's actually outgrown his tiny baby vests now, which made me really sad. But he's into completely newborn clothes now. It's the only thing he wears, and he's starting to fill them out a little bit already, which is quite scary. But I mean, I'm happy he's growing. So currently with Rory, as you can see, his hair hasn't really fallen out at all, which a lot of people said it would. Say they lose their hair or they get a bit of a bald spot. He hasn't had that at all yet. We have no bald spots at all, and he's actually still sported a bit of a mullet, which you can see, but he is rocking it. I mean, they're in style these days. So Rory is generally a very content baby. He's usually really happy. Even to start with, just one little rock like this would put him straight to sleep or quieten him down if he was crying. And he'd usually only cry when he was hungry. That was pretty much it for the first, I'd say, 3 weeks. But more recently, you could say he's found his voice, and he's using it a lot. I think he's going through a bit of a growth spurt, which they say is quite common at around 3 weeks. So I think he's been going through a growth spurt, and also I think he's going through his first development leap, because for him they were due around the same time as they go off. So your development leaps go off your due date, which for him is around a week before he was born. So his development leap's due at 4 weeks and his growth spurt was due at 3 weeks, so they kind of were at the same time for him, which caused us a lot of drama really, because this last week he's been very fussy. This last week he's been crying a lot more often, and it's a lot harder to settle him. He's been a lot hungrier, he's feeding for a lot longer at time. But once we get through this week, I'm sure he'll be back to normal. So as most new mums will know, it's nearly impossible to have a routine with a newborn baby, especially if you're breastfeeding, because you breastfeed them on demand, so whenever they want it, they get it really. But we're pretty close. He is sort of naturally fallen into his own little routine. So throughout the day he feeds every 3 hours, and at night he feeds every 4.5 hours if we're lucky, which I think is really good. It's not very common that people get that just yet, and I'm sure it'll change. I'm sure he'll change his mind and start feeding every 2 hours at night, knowing our luck. But at the minute, yeah, he's doing really well. He's a really good sleeper at night, so he does really sleep from one feed to the next, other than the last few days where he's been a bit more fussy. He's sort of woken up maybe once in between feeds, but yeah, usually he sleeps for a good 3 hour stretch at a time at night. And in the day, he's not a big fan of napping, as you can tell by him being here already. Likes to be awake and he likes to know what's going on. He's very nosy, he's very alert, and he just wants to sit and stare at the world as much as he can. Usually that is, he will just stare out of the window in our front room or out of the patio doors. He just likes bright lights, so that's his main thing he likes to stare at, and that's interesting enough that he doesn't want to go for a nap. So I tried putting him in his bed today, and that didn't help, but the distraction of things like the dogs and me trying to film this video probably didn't make it any easier, did it? Hey? So we haven't really had any first just yet. He has tummy time and he started to lift his head up a little bit, but not too consistently, I'd say. I'm always looking for that first smile as well. We haven't had it just yet, but I'm hoping it's going to come quite soon. He has started doing windy smiles a lot more, and they're one of my favourite things. They're getting bigger. He twitches at both sides rather than just the one. So I think the muscles are there for him to smile. We're just waiting for it to happen. Hopefully after this leap's over, we'll get there, won't we? So Rory has a few things he really likes. The main one is bath time. Actually, he loves bath time. It's his favourite time of the day. We do it every other day at the moment, but we're going to look at doing it every day just because he loves it so much, not because he needs it. No matter what his mood is prior, I mean usually it's, at the minute it's grumpy, As soon as his toes touch that water, he loves it. He is so happy, he's so content. He completely relaxes his whole body, see it. And I don't know if it's the hundreds of baths I had when I was pregnant with him, or just how much he loved living in his own little swimming pool in me, but he definitely is a water baby. He loves it. So he's also quite interested in anything that's black and white contrast, which is quite common for babies, but he'll really analyse them. So we've got cards, we've got books, we've got toys that are all black and white, and he will stare at them for ages and ages and scan them up and down and just take it all in. He is really interested by them. He even actually has a preference of the black background with the white shapes rather than the black shapes on a white background, which we've realised he finds that more interesting to look at, and he'll look at it for longer. Rory also loves his swaddle, so you put him in a swaddle at night. He has a love to dream swaddle. So we did try him in the normal swaddles, but he doesn't like having his arms down. He likes having his arms by his face. They're always up here somewhere. I mean, even if I show you him right now, his arm is up on his face. That's just where he likes to be. So we have the love to dream swaddle, which has the arm pockets for his hands, so they can go up by his face, and he really loves that. I think that might be actually why he sleeps so well at night. So another thing Rory really likes is actually tummy time, which most mums are probably surprised by. Most babies don't really like tummy time, but Rory loves it. He really likes to try and lift his head up and look around. I think maybe just because he's so nosy he likes it, but he seems quite comfortable on his stomach. I don't know why, but he quite likes it. Even if you just put him on his stomach to rub lotion on his back or something, he quite enjoys it. He does a lot of things with his head when you're holding him that you probably shouldn't be doing just yet. He tries to like move it around and look, and he doesn't like to be restricted too much with his head. So I think tummy time is a good time for him to try out all his moves. He's still only there for about 5 minutes at a time or so before he gets tired out though. So he's not there for too long yet. He hasn't built up too much stamina. But what he does do when he's in those 5 minutes is quite a lot. He is constantly lifting his head up. So another place where he does really like is his swing. We got him a swing about 2 weeks ago now, after we tried out my cousin's, because she has a swing for her little baby, and he really enjoyed it, and he loves movement anyway, so I'm probably like this the whole video because he likes movement. It settles him, and the swing has been quite a game changer for me, to be honest. Before we had it, I was eating with one hand. I was doing everything with one hand really, because I couldn't use the baby sling. I'm not allowed to use it for too long, so I can't really use that all day. And the swing has made it easier for me to be able, I can eat with 2 hands now. I put him in it if he's sleeping, sometimes if we're downstairs, or if we want to watch a video, or I just need a pee. If I need a pee, I can put him in the swing while Robin's downstairs with him, don't worry. And go to the toilet without having to worry too much about him, which is really nice. We did have a rocking cot type thing, which we used before that, but it's manual, so you have to rock it yourself, which when you're trying to eat and trying to rock something with your foot just isn't the easiest thing. It makes it a lot more difficult, and to put him in it and then try and go and do something didn't work because it wasn't rocking. So the swing has been a massive game changer for us. Speaking of the baby wrap, we have used it. I have used it in small walks that we've been doing, so I walk about 15 minutes, and he's really comfortable in there. He really enjoys it in the wrap. I can't wait till I can use it a bit more actually, because I think in the daytime it'll be nice to have him in the wrap while I'm doing some housework or something. I think he'll quite like it. It'll make life easier for me when I'm allowed. And yeah, he likes to actually have his head out of the wrap if he can, because he's nosy and he likes to look around. So instead of tucking his head in, often I just hold his head on the back, and he quite likes that. If he's asleep, I'll tuck it in, because he usually falls asleep when he's in there anyway. When we're on walks, he's really happy in his pram as well, so anything that moves is quite a winner for us. He likes his car seat too, but we haven't used it too much because neither of us have been able to drive very much. So now there are a few things that Rory is not very keen on, that he doesn't like. One of them is nappy changes. He does not like having his nappy changed, especially when Daddy does it. I don't know if I've just got a special touch, but he definitely cries more when Daddy does it. So as soon as his nappy comes off, he kicks, he wriggles, he cries. He just doesn't like it. And as soon as his clothes are back on and the new nappy's on, he's happy again. So I think it's just one of those things that we're gonna have to get used to. The other thing he doesn't really like is being hungry, which I'm sure is no surprise. But if, yeah, is it because I said that you don't like being hungry? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he doesn't like being hungry at all. If we can't feed him right there and then for some reason, say I have to get nursing cover out for somebody because somebody's over, or we're out on a walk and I can't feed him until we get home, he makes it very apparent that he's hungry now and he wants food right now. So he cries a lot when he needs food, and he is a really hungry boy. So he feeds for about 25 minutes at a time, which isn't too long on the boob. If we give him a bottle, so I've been giving him a bottle in the evenings, well, Robin's been feeding him from the bottle in the evenings, he'll drink 4 ounces quite happily, which for somebody his size is a lot. It's about double what he really needs in a bottle, but he drinks it all and he's hungry, so he takes it. So another thing Rory is not too keen on is actually having his baby lotion put on and a bit of a massage. So after every time he has a bath, so every other day, Robin puts his lotion on when he changes him after the bath, before he puts his clothes on, and he hates it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's cold or what, but he just hates it. And he cries the house down until he's finished being lotioned. And as soon as he's done, quiet again, he's content. But yeah, he just does not like it. The only time he prefers it actually is when he's on his front, funnily enough, like tummy time. He likes being on his front and having his back rubbed. He finds that a lot nicer than having his front rubbed. So hopefully in the next month we'll have some firsts. We'll hopefully have his first smile. Hopefully he'll start recognising his hands a little bit more and using them with a bit more control. He might start lifting his head up and having a bit more head control. So I'm sure his 2-month update is going to be just as exciting as this one. So hopefully if you check that one out when it comes up. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll catch you in the next one.